Happy Tuesday, everybody. Another day in crazy land, real estate and all the things. Hope everybody's doing well. If you live up in the Northeast in my neck of the woods, hope you enjoyed the weather today. It was absolutely fantastic. 70s. Actually opened my windows for the first time in months. But we're not talking about the weather tonight. We're talking about a situation where imagine you file a massive class action lawsuit against a group of individuals that has wronged you for the amount of money that they're charging, and you win said lawsuit in the tune of $418 million. Then you decide to actually start up a business in the industry that you just sued. Yeah, bonkers, ridiculous. And that's what we're going to unpack today, because it's quite a conversation. Sounds too good to be true. And I got some issues. And we're going to go into it. But, you know, as always, I always like to bring on a friend. And I think you guys will appreciate this particular friend because, you know, she is no stranger to this live stream. She is hailing from the great state of New Jersey. She is coming with the fire. She is ready to kick butt and have a conversation about this topic. So, you know what? Come on now. Welcome, Miss Jackie Baker. Did it come on again?
Where are you?
Okay, hold on. Stand by. There we go.
Hi.
I did the same thing. I had David on the live stream. I had David on the live stream a couple weeks ago, and I did the same thing. And then I don't know I don't know.
Yeah, StreamYard's been a little wonky. Last week, StreamYard kicked out my moderator. She was on the back end, like trying to put up comments, and she get kicked her out. It was weird. Yeah.
Okay, so you know what? I'm thinking it's me. So maybe it's
no. I think it's.
I'll gladly turn that over to the StreamYard people.
Yes.
How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. For those watching, Jackie and I actually met IRL, as the kids say, in real life last week for the first time.
That was
at a conference, YouTube conference down in Texas, down in Dallas.
Yep.
And we came home and my brain hurts from learning so much. But it was nice to see you in real life. It was so much
like
fun.
in the flesh. When I saw you come off the plane, I'm like, oh my God, she exists. She's real.
Chariots of Fire and all the things were playing in slow motion. And not really in my head.
No, it was great. It was so great to see you in person. Anyway,
it was likewise, and along with other great friends and a lot of new friends and all the things. So but this thing is bonkers. This startup, Jackie. Like, I mean, it's just we're gonna dig into it. I'm gonna bring up an article in a second, but you know, it's like, you know, talk about an opportunistic, you know, situation where somebody's taking advantage of any opportunity to make money under the disguise of consumer protection. It's on so many levels, which we're going to get into, is exactly not what it claims to be. No. And I can't wait to get into their website and just tear it apart, because there are so many errors on their website.
I already tore it apart last night on my stream. It's so ridiculous, so stupid. So anyway,
stupid is as stupid does.
Yep.
As our friend Forrest says. So stupid is as stupid does. I can't do the thing. Anyhow, let's get into it. Let's get into it. So we've got this story broke actually a little over a week ago.
Yes.
TechCrunch actually broke the story. After winning a landmark case against real estate agents, this startup aims to replace them with a flat fee. Yeah, good luck. Anyways, the article says one of the people who successfully sued the National Association of Realtors to change real estate commissions has co-founded a new real estate startup. It all began in 2017 when Josh Sitzer And his wife listed their home for sale in Kansas City. The couple was frustrated by the fact that they had to pay a 3% commission to a buyer's agent. Due to the anti-competitive structure of the industry before the lawsuit, I, as a seller, was effectively coerced into paying 3% of my home selling price to a buyer's agent in order to achieve a successful sale. While hiring agents is a choice for many, I don't believe anyone should be bullied into paying for undesired services due to unfair industry practices. Well, doesn't he sound so gallant? Sitzer shared his frustration with his neighbor, because that's what you do, who happened to be a lawyer. And familiar with the subject matter, by 2019, he and other homeowners filed a class action lawsuit. We all know about this. And then earlier this year, the National Association of Realtors settled. It goes on to say, to take advantage of the new landscape that we are now in, Sitzer has teamed up with Bryce Gallen and Neil Bantra to found a startup called Landian, which aims to help homebuyers benefit from the rule change that resulted from the lawsuit by offering flat fee real estate agents on demand. The name Landian blends the word land and guardian. So Bryce Gallen and Neil Batra, I think.
Batra, yep.
A little bit of digging into them. They're tech guys, and they've got money, and they have a history of successfully launching startups and in tech. So that's one of the reasons why he teamed up with them, in addition to financial backing. So that's my understanding. Do you have anything to add to that team up? Do you know anything more about that?
No, I don't know anything more about that. I mean, the whole thing is just a bunch of crap. But anyway. Sorry, Jen.
You're not lying.
No, I'm not.
It says the site, according to its founders, allows users to import listings. And we're going to, hang in there, guys. We're going to get into the website. I'm going to show you the website. I'm going to go into all the details, the FAQs and all that stuff, so you understand. Because I want, the reason why I'm going to, just a sidebar, the reason why I wanted to talk about this tonight is because this kind of stuff, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And there are going to be companies like this popping up all over the place, trying to take advantage and sway buyers, because a lot of buyers are misinformed with how commissions work. They're misinformed on what a buyer agent even does.
Yep.
And these people know the right words to say to sway you. And I just want you to be educated. You want to use them by all means, but I just want you to go into the conversation with them on their website, understanding exactly what you're getting into, because there's going to be a lot. I foresee a lot of, lawsuits coming, Jackie, with this stuff. It says the site, according to its founders, allows users to import listings from any real estate site and then book a home tour or prepare an offer with a licensed agent without owing a commission. Well, that just sounds great. And, I would like to have a unicorn in my backyard. But, does that, right? That's not much to ask.
Yep.
And I'm not going to lie, this does sound like a Ginsu commercial. Buyers have the option to pay a la carte for Landian's offering, and we're going to get into this a little bit more. So just kind of skim through it now. $49 for a home tour, $199 for an offer prep session, or you can do a little bit more hand holding for $1,800. I'll get into it in a little bit. It goes on to say, because the Zillows and Redfins of this sort, it goes on to say that, with Landian, home buyers are protected for the new reality of paying exorbitant commissions out of pocket that eat into their closing costs, yada, yada. This says, it goes on to say that because the Zillows and Redfins and this sort of old guard real estate tech companies have thrived and grown in a world where a buyer agent gets 3%, they're not leading the change here. It's a new wave of startups like Landian that we expect that will lead the change. Sidebar, Jackie, it's not.
No.
Redfin already tried and failed, which I'm going to get into in a second.
Right.
This is not brand new. My bet is that following the NAR settlement, most agents most agents will convert from relying solely on the traditional model based on speculation and higher fees to incorporating the Landian flat fee model.
Yeah.
If I want to live in a cardboard
No.
box and eat macaroni and cheese. So,
Come
so
on.
I mean, so this is the oversight. This, like I said, a week and a half. This came out, right?
Yep.
And the the follow up to that with Redfin that I mentioned earlier is that Redfin said that they posted on this is Broke Agent Media that posted a few days later.
Yep.
They responded when we tried this. This is not new. This model of having a la carte services is not new. It says, when we tried this before in a fiercely competitive housing market, we struggled to win on behalf of customers the offer writing agent hadn't met for listings that agent hadn't seen. Okay. We also learned that when customers want to call on the expertise of one person morning, noon, and night, you have to pay that person very, very well. This is going to be one of the huge gaps, Jackie, in this whole thing, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And then it goes on to saying, pivoting to a different model has paid off revenue because Redfin tried it, it failed, and then they pivoted, and now they do offer. And we've talked about the fact that you can go with full service, but if you don't want full service, there are discount brokerages now.
Yes.
In my opinion, and what I've seen in my research, because I talk to agents with referrals day in and day out, the agents that I deal with, that 20% agents, are not Redfin agents. None of them are Redfin agents, because Redfin is good for some people, but they're considered a discount brokerage.
Yep.
Discount in the sense that they are providing less services, and typically it's going to be less professional or less informed agents, right?
Yep.
The agents that have the experience, that have had the transactions under their belt, that have the knowledge, that invest in their business, they can't run their business based on a 1% commission.
No.
So before we get into, I think there was this part here.
Ooh, what does that say? Okay.
So this is Broke Agent Media. This is Byron Lazine. He commented on it. He says, let's break this down, Landon. A broker has to sign off on the relationship with you, right? So like, Jackie, you and I work for a broker. We cannot go out and sell property and take money directly.
Right.
Commission comes into us. It has to go through the broker.
Yes.
Goes from whoever the source comes to the broker. The broker takes a piece, but part of that piece is to pay for errors and omissions insurance. Because if anything were to happen, there's a liability coverage, right? There's always anytime we put our hands on something, it's a liability to the broker.
Right.
So the money has to flow through the broker. Excuse me. He says, okay, so a broker has to sign off on the relationship. Because there's commission, there's compensation, there's flat fees being exchanged. A licensed real estate agent can't exchange the fees. It's the broker. So what broker is going to say, yeah, I want, 20%, 10%, 5% of $49.
Right.
Okay. Let's say it's 80-20. I want $9 to take on all the liability in that transaction.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Landian doesn't take on the liability, and we're gonna dig into this. It says doesn't go on to liability, it depends on the state, so on and so forth. So, Jackie. Yeah. Whoops. I accidentally removed you. Sorry.
Yep.
Please, you have the floor. Before we jump into the actual website.
So when I was talking about this last night. So it's $49 to go see a house. Okay. Do you think people, first of all, are really going to pay that to just say, hey, I want to see this house, I'll pay $50?
Yep.
I can't because then you're only getting a door opener at that point, right? I mean, that agent's not gonna help you. Now, first of all, and then the other thing, like we're saying about the discount brokerages, you're not getting the service, right? Like that comment was there, you're not going to get an agent who's available morning, noon, and night. Be accessible, right? You're not paid enough in that model, that flat fee model, right?
No.
So there's that people are missing the boat. They're missing that whole thing that we do work for our freaking money. And that's what I'm like so tired of people saying, like, we do nothing, realtors do nothing and they make it with thousands of dollars. Dude, walk a mile in my shoes. So seriously, like in our shoes, right?
Well, and I think the thing is this will shine a light on that. And talk about why. Let's talk about why. So this is the website. Now this website is available across the country right now. Okay. It does say Landian, but it is, and this is beta, but it is live. But it's live. Like I don't have special access. I just went on to the website, and you just, for starters, it is not a listing service. So it's not like a realtor.com or Redfin or any of those. You have to take the address. You have to do the research on your own.
Yeah.
Which most buyers are doing anyways. Take that email at that address of that property and plug it in here. And then it's going to ask you what type of services. Now, if we go into the FAQs, honestly, they kind of crack me up. I mean, it's like almost written by ChatGPT, to be honest.
All of this was AI. Come on.
The whole website. So first off, the first thing that I want to talk about is, and this is super important for people to know. And what I mentioned earlier, Jackie, about you and I, agents can't do this alone. An agent doesn't work for themselves. They operate across the country. They operate under a brokerage. The top level, the brokerage carries all the liability insurance.
Yep.
They're the ones that keep all the agents in check, and licenses in check, to make sure that everybody's following the rules. And most brokers require those for the majority of the agents in the country. A majority of them are operating under the National Association of Realtors. If the broker's member, then they're going to require all the agents under them to be a member. Right. So the first thing is that this is not a site where they're representing you, and it makes it sound like it is like, oh, we'll get you into a house for short money, but they're not a broker. No. All they are is a connector. Yeah. All they are is a connector. They're going to connect you with an agent. And I want to get into that in a second, Jackie, in terms of like what that actually means. But Landian is absolutely not a brokerage, first off, because that is super important to know, that they have no liability. They're not responsible for anything. Right. They can say whatever they want to say. They're not a member of the National Association of Realtors. They're a complete separate entity, zero connection or responsibility in that regard. Yeah. So first, so you establish that and say, okay, well, you know what, that's fine. I just want to see this house. I don't want to call an agent. Okay. So they have the FAQs and they say, okay, how do you tour properties? You go on the website, you type in the address, and then it says, why shouldn't I just try to contact the listing agent directly to schedule a tour? Okay, that's a great question. Yep. First red flag, it says under the new 2024 laws. Pause. Everyone watching this. Okay, number one, I'm not an attorney, but I know how to read. Okay. The NAR settlement, there were absolutely zero laws created. There is no law requiring anything. These are NAR policies that if an agent is a member of NAR, then they have to follow these buyer brokerage rules and the whole 9 yards. And because most of the agents are members of NAR in the US, they're going to be required. However, if Jackie, you and I said, you know what, we're going to go out on a limb, let's start our own brokerage, and we're going to call it the Jen and Jackie Show. Yeah. And we're not going to become a member of NAR. There's nothing saying that we have to follow these rules. Right. There's no umbrella of protection to the consumer because there's no code of ethics that we have to follow. Okay. They
Yep.
can't sue us for violating code of ethics because there is no code of ethics if you're not under NAR policies,
Right.
right?
Yep.
But there is no law. There were no laws changed. It was just policies
Yep.
within the real estate industry. So number one, huge error. Okay. Real estate agents are now required to have you sign a buyer agency agreement before they can let you in the home. Yes. Like before, a real estate agent is now required to have you sign a buyer rep agreement before they show you a home, before they let you tour a home. No. Jackie, if someone called you as a listing agent,
Mm-hmm.
forget about who you work for and all the things, right? But
Right.
typically, you're the listing agent. I'm the buyer.
Right.
I want to look at 123 Main Street. I call you,
Mhm.
right? And
Yep.
and you say, Jen, I do not represent you. I represent the seller.
Right.
I don't represent you. I
Yep.
just need you to understand that I do not, I can let you in, but my seller has given me permission to let you in the house,
Yeah.
but I am not representing you. That is possible.
Yes.
That is absolutely possible. The difference is if you now, I'm now represented by an agency. I have a great agent I've known for years, and they're going to accompany me so they can give me advice and guidance and point out things about the house. If that agent comes with me, now I got to sign a buyer agent agreement with that
Right.
agent. But
Right.
no, I don't. I'm not required to do that before you tour a home.
Now, but
Right?
so here's the thing too. What really drives me nuts about this whole thing, the next line. This means you could be pressured into committing to a 3% commission. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's negotiable. It always was negotiable. And this guy throwing the bully word around, you're pressured to pay this commission. This guy, Josh Sitzer, nobody forced him to sign that listing agreement. He signed it. And to say he was coerced, come on, stop it. It was negotiable. Don't tell me, don't give me that. This part of this, Jen, this is what gets my Sicilian up.
I get it. No, and you know what? Because the reality of it is I mean, been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
Have I been asked over the last 28 years, will you take less commission?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All the
Yes.
time.
Yeah, could
All
you
the
do better? And
time.
I've done it. I'm like, look, whatever
And
it
now,
takes. Yeah.
doesn't mean that
Doesn't
now
matter.
here's the thing. It doesn't mean that I have to agree.
No.
Negotiation is exactly that. A lot of people, I think, they are under the misconception that negotiation means that the agent has to comply. If I say I'm only willing to pay 2%, then the agent has to do the 2%. No, the agent can say no.
Right.
And I have said that. I have absolutely walked away from business because the client did not see my value enough to pay the fee that I personally am charging. And you know what? I'm okay with that. They
Yeah.
can go. There are plenty of other agents that will work for less money, and
Yep.
I'm totally okay with that. I
Yep.
know the level of service that I provide and how much my value and what I need to survive to make those, all the things that I pay for to run my business. I am not living in the lap of luxury here, people. I'm not here making millions of dollars. It's all the cost of doing business,
Yep.
right? So I don't have to, but to say that it hasn't been, I agree with you. It's a matter of you've got to ask. You've got to ask.
You ask the
You got to
question.
start the
You ask the
conversation.
question. Yeah. I mean, do you do that when you go buy a car? Like
Well, you know what? A lot of people don't though. That's why they have Carvana. You know what I'm saying?
No,
Like
when I go buy a car, listen, when I buy a car,
I would never buy it that way, but there's plenty of people that'll just pay the sticker because they don't want
they don't want to deal with the hassle.
they don't want to deal with it.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
I'm not afraid to ask that question. It's like, can you do better? Like, come on.
I would love to see you negotiate on a car.
Oh, it's fun.
I'd love to. That would be
Yeah.
fun. Be like, buddy, forget about it.
I know.
Just forget about it.
walking out with like, the car mats, the high end like car mats and stuff, and getting like free Sirius XM. It's good. It's all good.
Those car guys have no idea what's coming.
No, they
They
don't.
see they see Jackie. Oh, she's just a nice, she's a nice lady and very,
Yeah.
unassuming, and you come along and then you're like, yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk. We're gonna talk now. What you got? No, you
Let's
got to go
talk.
sharpen that pencil. Or
Yep.
however you say it down
Yes.
in Jersey.
Sharpen it. Sharpen the
Sharpen the pencil.
We're gonna talk. We're gonna come up with a deal. So
We're gonna talk. Let's just
yes,
talk.
we're gonna
Let's
talk.
coffee talk. It says, can I search for homes using directly on Landian? We've already talked. I mentioned this already. That is not a
Mhm.
search platform, right? That's great. Of course not, because you have to have an affiliation with MLS to be a search platform. And if you're going to be a part of MLS, guess what? Now you have to talk about, being part under the NAR policies. And this is the guy who sued NAR.
NAR, right? So that's the other thing too. This website is so dumb. Like you said, people are going to do the research, right? And they're going to go on Zillow. They're going to take that address off of Zillow and put it right into this website, right?
That's what they're good. That's what they're telling them to do.
Yeah.
And
I played around with this last night on my live stream to show people. It's so weird when it pulls the property up. It doesn't pull it like all the pictures from Zillow. It does the Google.
Yep.
The Google picture.
We'll do that. Actually, after we're done, we'll do that.
Yeah, let's play around with that. I want to show you because I thought that was hysterical.
As long as I don't accidentally buy something, that would be great.
Yeah, God, don't do that.
No, that
don't
would
make an
good.
offer. Whatever you do. Oh my God.
Oh, Jackie will make an offer they can't refuse.
Yeah.
Mr. Pareca, what's happening, Joe? Oh, we missed you in Dallas last week, my friend.
Yeah, my friend. How are you, Joe?
Next week, hopefully. So it says, goes on to say, why should buyers care about saving commissions? Well, isn't that a dumb question? Everybody wants to save money.
Are you kidding me?
Isn't it the seller's responsibility? It says a common misconception that sellers pay the commission. Reality, this can go either way. And buyers fund these commissions through the funds they bring to the table. It says recent legal changes. These are not legal changes. These are not legal changes. These are not laws that have been changed. Okay, sorry. A little hot about this. I just don't like it when people post information that is black and white false, right? Fake news. Yep. Recent legal changes, including a notable settlement by the National Association of Realtors, have shifted this responsibility. Landian empowers buyers who save on these fees, promoting a more consumer-friendly real estate market. Please, there's nobody more consumer-friendly than Jackie Baker. Come on now. Come on. You want a consumer-friendly experience?
And good old
1-800 Jackie Baker.
Yeah, there you go. And you can go call Jen Sylvester too.
There we go. It goes on. I'm not going to read all this stuff. You guys can read it on your own. All right, let's get into the sauce pricing. So how much does it cost to use Landian? This stuff. This actually cracks me up. So Landian offers competitive and transparent pricing for all services. Okay. Which is great considering that the guy who's running this company forced National Association of Realtors to roll out policies that removed transparency. I'm trying to remain calm here. I got blood pressure issues. I'm trying to remain. Help me breathe here, Jackie.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here for
remain
you.
Calm.
I'm here supporting you, Jen. Yes.
Thank you. Yep. I appreciate you so much. Landian offers competitive, transparent pricing for all services. Again, I think I was in the middle of that. The transparent piece where this guy required in the NAR settlement, a piece of that removed the transparency for the buyer agent fee from everybody, from everything. So here he is touting transparent pricing where his lawsuit forced the NAR forced every real estate agent to remove the fees disclosures.
Yep. I know. But now this is all transparent.
This is super transparent. It's a bunch of
oh my God,
cockabluey. Tours, $49 per tour paid up front with no further obligations or commissions. Okay. $49, Jackie.
$49. And then
Let's
what if you don't like the
discuss.
house? Right.
Let's discuss.
Let's talk
So
about this.
$49, okay,
Yes.
to open a door.
Yep.
$49 to, regardless of whether that agent walks around the house, tells you anything about it, gives you any feedback, they're going to get paid $50.
Mm-hmm.
They're not pulling comps. They're not telling you about the neighborhood. They could care less. It's $50.
Mm-hmm.
They will show you any house you want, regardless of whether it meets your criteria, because they're getting paid $50.
Yep.
It is in their best interest to not talk you into that house or not make sure that that house is not matched to your criteria. You want to? You're curious about all 10 houses? Let's go look at them. Let's go take a look at all of them, whether they're under contract or not. If we can get into them, let's go for it. Why? Because they're going to get paid $50.
Yep.
They have zero motivation to try to help you get that house.
Right. Yep. Yep. It's so true. And I'm sorry, $50 really? Like, and they expect agents to sign up for this?
Right.
$50 to go. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
Think about the time we spend in our car, the money we spend on gas.
Well, and so,
and then they may not buy the house. You know what I mean? That's the other thing too. You're going to, all right, great. You walk away $50. They're not going to buy it. But then look at the consumer. He's saying this is helping the consumer. Are you serious? First time buyers are saving every freaking penny. They're going to shell out $50 every time they want to see a house. Like you said last night, your comment on my stream, they could see it for free. Go to an open house.
They could see it for free. Right. So here's the thing. Hi, Kate D. How are you?
Hi, Kate.
Good to see you. S Street. My sister was hesitant to use a realtor when she didn't have to pay the realtor. Now she really won't want to use one, even though it would protect her to have one on her side. You know what? You're absolutely positively right. That's a valid thought process, and that's a valid comment. And unfortunately, it's a hurdle that a lot of people are going to have to get over. And I think that, one of the reasons why I do this channel, one of the reasons that Jackie does her channel, is to educate you guys, provide no strings attached. I do not care if he's a real estate agent or not. It doesn't matter to me, whether you do or not. My goal, because I'm not trying to be hired by you. My goal is to educate so that you guys can make those decisions on your own, because there's not enough people doing that. And so many people, like your sister, have had bad experiences, or maybe they've heard of other people having bad experiences, or they just don't understand what real estate agents do. So, if I didn't understand, I would feel the same way. So why would I spend my hard-earned money on someone that's not going to be bringing me any value? And my hope is that she connects with somebody that can show her. Now, I connect people with folks all the time on my channel. I spend a lot of time researching and vetting out the top agents that do the thing. Jackie, I know you do the same on your channel. We're trying to, yes, we do get referral fees, like we do, like food with our meals. But the primary goal is to get you to the right person, because you may not use the agent we refer you to, but we want to try to help you weed through all the crap and the lousy agents and the people that are lazy, that are not worth a penny. So I hope she finds she's able to find somebody.
It's worth for her to get connected with somebody.
Research.
Listen, people have their issues. They have their issues, and we get, because like you said, we get a bad rap, right? And people generalize.
Well, not you and me personally.
No. We're awesome. So
No, I may talk too much, but
but
that's a separate story for a different day.
But the thing is, like you said, she's got to get connected with somebody that can prove their value, show their value, that it is worth it. Because my concern is that, like the comment, like she just said, she's saying she won't really want to use one, even though it will protect her to have one on her side. I love that word, protect her. You need that protection. You need your advocate. You need, this is, oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're sweet.
We
Well,
try. We try.
You
But
know what?
listen, I'm sorry. Let me finish my thought. You need, I say this all the time, Jen.
You have the floor. I
We're
know.
not salespeople. We're not.
No.
I don't look at my job as a salesperson, sales associate. I'm an advocate. I'm your, whatever. You're expert. You know what I mean? I'm there to guide you. You're there to guide
You
them.
can't talk to anybody into buying anything anyways.
No,
It's you can't force someone to sign papers. You can't force,
abs-
I think there's definitely a lot of smooth talkers, but here's the thing. Here's the thing that I would tell your sister. Just as if you were hiring a listing agent, interview 3 agents.
yes.
If you don't know what a buyer agent does, if you are nervous about connecting with the right agent, interview 3 buyer agents.
Yep.
Period. Now, I think you're dropping a video, aren't you? Like, or you
I
just
just
dropped
dropped
one or
it an
something?
hour and a half ago. I just dropped my video. It's called "Beware of These Real Estate Tactics When Buying a Home." And
Perfect.
Jen has something
and
similar on the selling side. But yeah,
yep.
so if you go on my channel, watch that video. If you're buying a home, there's some tactics. There are some things that agents will do to, persuade you to buy or to spend more money than you want to. So go watch
And
that because they're out there. There are shady people out there. And then,
are there really though, Jackie?
yeah,
Really?
yeah.
And you know what? And you know what you say to those people that are shady?
Tell me.
Sorry, I was looking for an opening on that one.
I knew you were waiting. I knew that was going to happen tonight. How did I know that?
So I was waiting. The other thing about that $49, okay, Jackie, what agent is going to be willing to pay to work for $49?
No, nobody.
Gas, time,
Yes,
energy,
that's
all the
right.
things.
Driving your
Good
car
luck,
around.
because this website is dependent upon agents signing up for it.
Yeah.
And signing on so that when you sign up for this $49 tour, you're getting whatever agent they assign you to.
Right.
Right. And which means they're just, I'm going to call a spade a spade. They're going to be bottom feeder agents because a good agent is not going to work for free. At $49, I'm working for free. 100%. Now, if you said, I'm going to hand you $50 for a half an hour time, I say, okay, you know what? Let's go. Starting now. Great. I have gotten my car. I've driven to the property and maybe I've been there for 5 minutes.
Yep.
Time's up.
Yep.
Like, there's hours involved.
Yes.
So nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to work for $49.
Exactly. Would you think
and it's hold on. Let back up the bus, Jackie.
Okay.
It's not $49 because they're not paying us directly. They're paying that to our broker.
That's right.
So now the broker takes their cut.
They take that.
So now maybe
right.
And then they take their cut, maybe 20%. So now it's $40. Oh, and then we have to pay taxes, state taxes, federal taxes,
Ridiculous.
self-employment taxes. Maybe we walk away with $15, $20.
And for all that time, right? That $15 wouldn't even cover a tank of gas. And
Nope.
and the work. Listen, before I go show a property, don't you research that property before you go out there? Don't I do like the Google map? I do the aerial view. I want to see where exactly it's located. I do, I look at the tax records. I look at the history of the home. Do all of that before I even get to the house.
Yep.
You think these agents for $15 at the end of the day are going to be doing all that extra work? They're not. They're just going to open the door. That's it. But what kills me, Jen, this is the man that brought down the industry. And do you think agents are going to be willingly saying, yeah, I'll sign up and be a part of your website? No. Are you kidding me?
No, everyone hates him. So it's not going to happen. But if we take that out of the mix though, in terms of any offshoot other websites that will supposedly copy this model, the model as you know, go on through this, it doesn't work. Redfin already tried it.
Right. It does not
Redfin
work.
already tried it. It doesn't
No.
work. So the next thing is that agent written offers. So this is another thing that just cracks me up. You can pay $100, $199, $200 for them to help guide you through the offer process. Okay.
Right.
Now
It's
I'm gonna
right. Professional guidance throughout the process, right? For the offer part of it. 200
yes. And
bucks.
so I'm gonna scroll down here. So here's what it includes. Um, you're paying $200 for a session lasting up to 1 hour. I've never met you before. I don't know anything about you. I haven't seen the house. Now, keep in mind, most agents you'd meet at the property, they have a general understanding of the property. You're making notes about what you want to include, what you should include. The agent
Yep.
suggests, do you want this? Do you want that? And then when it's time to make an offer, the agent already is familiar with property. Oh no, this is a different agent. This is somebody brand new that is going to get on through Zoom or the telephone. 60 minutes is all you get.
Yep.
Jackie, that
It's
not
not
even close to enough time
Nope.
to put an offer together. Not
Definitely
even
not.
close. And it says offer prep sessions do not typically include a full pricing analysis based on comparable sales or detailed property research. Again, you're on your own. You're on your own.
You're on
So
your
I
own
mean,
with that.
it's like
Exactly.
if you want the bare bones basic, like if you are just I don't know, somebody who's bought and sold properties,
Yeah.
50 times and why would you even do it? Just do it yourself.
Right.
Why would you even pay the $200? But most people are not that way. Most people need more than an hour, and it says,
Way
for
more than
ongoing
that.
assistance, such as handling complex counteroffers negotiations, you can book additional offer sessions. So, it says the agent will assist with straightforward counter offers, such as adjustments to price and closing dates. I don't know how that works because you're only allowed a short period of time. And
Yep.
what does straightforward counter offer include? That is super subjective. Super subjective. They could say, well, we're discussing, and we've had 2 or 3 phone calls based on inspection criteria, minimum amount for the inspection. Oh, nope, this is no longer straightforward. I can't talk to you about it anymore.
Yeah.
What is exactly straightforward?
So
You know what I'm saying?
is he is he looking
Mhm.
to make his money off of that? Like,
Well,
the
so
offer
this is the
sessions at
thing.
$200 a pop and you get paid another $200. Oh, by the way, they counter offered, so we got to book another hour, an
Yep,
hour session. That's what Oh my God.
it's garbage. And then it goes on to say, which is another thing that has been a misconception, is it says, for tasks beyond the offer stage, we recommend working with a local real estate attorney to manage key aspects of the transaction. Okay, guys, if you don't want to take my word for it, call your local real estate attorney. I'm telling you right now, they will not do this. I
No.
have talked to many real estate attorneys after the NAR settlement, and I've been dealing with them for almost 30 years. They do not get into home inspection recommendations, offer contract, specific dates, and so forth, unless you're going to pay them extensively. And even then,
Yes.
they don't get involved in the little minutia of things. If the appraisal process comes up and the appraisal is undervalued, now you got to work through that whole scenario to figure
Mhm.
out a solution. They don't get involved in that.
No, that they don't get involved with. They don't. But
100%.
oh
Hey,
my
Shannon.
gosh.
Good
Hey,
to see you.
Shannon.
Absolutely good to see you.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on this very heated conversation. Joe says, sounds to me like buyers are going to spend some decent money viewing the home, writing an offer, and doing a counter, and still quite possibly not get the home.
Yep.
Here is the thing, Joe, and that's what I was going to get to, is talk about a shady situation, a money grab. How many agents that are not good enough to be in the 20% bracket, right, Jackie?
Mhm.
But they can sign up for Landian.
Yep.
They have zero motivation to get your offer accepted.
Right.
None.
Right.
You want to put an offer in? Let's go. Oh, didn't get it. You ready for the next one? Put an offer in? Yep, let's go. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat,
Yep.
because the more you do it, the more money they make. Okay. This is the thing that you pay when under a traditional model, which according to him is the devil. Traditional model, during the height of the pandemic, how many offers were you writing? Some buyers I was working with, it was a lot of offers, a lot of time, a lot of touring of properties. I get paid the same, right? But under this
Mhm.
model, there's no reason an agent would be willing to fight for you because they're
No,
just going to make more money if they don't. You know,
exactly.
Joe says
Exactly.
it would be nice if buyers would only have to pay if they close on the house. Oh wait, that show
No, it works with
that's how it works for traditional agents.
Go figure, Joe. Go
Oh,
figure. Yep.
I would love to
Oh,
charge $500 to $700 just to show and submit an offer. I know there's always been talk, Jackie, of retainers, and I mean,
yeah. Do you know
how
the
many,
agents, they do that in Georgia. I had,
do they really?
yeah, last night I had, Clark, the realtor on. He's an agent in Atlanta. They do that.
I
They'll
heard
charge
him say
retainer.
that actually.
Yeah. Yep. Um,
And you know what? And I wonder if a lot of other agents will start doing that,
I don't know,
and I don't know.
but
It's very, very, very interesting. Let's see, let me get back up here. So okay. So you're like, I don't want to hire an agent. I want to use AI. Okay. So for 99 bucks, you're going to have a proven cost-effective technology-driven option for drafting and submitting your offer. You're going to leave the biggest purchase in most people's lives up to
exactly.
AI.
Up to AI. Is this guy for real?
Okay,
Is
so I
he
guess
for
self-driving
real?
cars are a thing.
Ugh.
The AI can take the money out of my bank account and know exactly about my personal situation with closing dates and my personal situation with time frame. I mean, I have a client now that I'm working with who's on the West Coast, who's purchasing a property here.
Right.
We had to customize the offer because of schedules. We
Yep.
customized it. To be honest, I was out of town, I was out of state till Sunday night. And I said, I really would like to be there. I could get somebody from my office to be there with them. But they said, no, Jen, we really want you to be there. I said, great, I want to be there too. So we were able to negotiate a time frame that was maybe a little bit outside the normal time frame, but
Yep.
that allowed me to be there to
Yep.
help guide them
Yeah.
and make sure that home inspector was doing their job and all the things, but
Yep.
also to get a firsthand look because I'm the one that's going to be negotiating on their behalf when we go to the seller to make sure things get fixed or discussions and follow-ups. And they had a ton of questions, right? Because they're buying a property that they live on the West Coast, they're buying a property on the East Coast, they are flying back home. And this is, I need to see what happened at that inspection. AI
Yeah.
is not going to know about that,
No.
you know?
Yep. No, they're not.
Yes, Shane says, I think landing is a lead generator. You know what? Leads for the
Mhm.
wrong is the wrong type of leads.
It is the wrong type of
I
lead.
but that's
Yeah.
interesting because unsuspecting buyers take that information. Now they get put in the hands of a buyer's agent, an unscrupulous buyer's agent who says, "Sure, I'll do it for $49." And then they start smooth talking and they talk them into signing a contract, or they talk them into signing on with
And
them
buyer's
long
agreement.
term.
Yep. That's
And
mhm.
I'm sorry, the agents that will sign on to Landian, they're they're not going. They're going to be part of the 80%. There's no question about it.
They are. Did you see Joe's comment there just above Shannon's, Jen? He's got a good point here.
He says, if I'm a listing agent and I receive an offer that was constructed by AI, I would heavily advise my seller diligently consider the merit of the offer. Yeah.
Mhm.
So Joe, 100%.
Yes.
I would be scrutinizing that thing up,
Yep.
down, sideways,
Yep.
and I still wouldn't trust it
I wouldn't trust
because
it
the thing,
either.
no, because there's weight. I think that the value of a real estate agent when a real estate agent, a local agent that's familiar with the area that I've worked with before, is overseeing the offer. A bad real estate agent can, people know this, a bad real estate agent, a bad buyer's agent can kill a deal unnecessarily. Between dragging their feet and the seller thinks that it's the buyer and it's really the agent,
Yep.
or not negotiating on the best behalf of the buyer, right?
Yep.
Or lying or whatever, right?
Yep.
The success of the transaction, the whole goal is to get to the finish table and have my client happy and with as much money in their pocket as possible with and meeting their goals, right?
Yep.
If there's somebody on the other side that is not pulling their weight, or it's AI driven offer, not feeling warm and fuzzy about it.
No, and I'm like Joe, I would advise my client to just, like, don't take,
Just
like,
yeah,
don't
Jackie
accept,
says.
just don't
Just
consider it.
don't.
Just
Please
don't.
don't. Just don't.
All right, Joe, what else is Joe saying?
One of the first questions I ask when I receive an offer on a listing, excuse me, have you, the agent, and your buyer both seen the property in person? Okay. Oh, I had this happen.
Okay.
Earlier last year.
Okay.
It feels like this year. Actually, it was early. No, what? No, it was not that it matters. Doesn't matter. It was recent. It was earlier this year. I had a property, put it on the market, multiple offers. It was in a nice little seaside community, small cottage, but highly desirable. And an agent, I have a showing service that I monitor everybody that comes in and out of the house. I know exactly who has seen the house, who's been in the property. And this agent submitted an offer. And coincidentally, it was a Redfin agent. And I said, "Have you haven't seen the property?" "Nope." I said, "Don't you want to see the property before you submit the offer to get to represent your client?" And she kind of got it. She was a little put out. She's, I do this all the time. I only see about 50% of the properties that I put offers in on.
But
I don't need to see the house.
you don't need to see the house. Yes, you do.
And then,
Oh my God.
so I said, okay. I expressed my concerns with the homeowner,
yeah.
the seller. And then she called me the next day and she said, "Oh, well, the reason why we're offering it is because it's only a 2-bedroom." I said, "No, it's a 3-bedroom." "Well, I saw it written somewhere that it's a 2-bedroom." So, well, if you've been in the freaking house, you'd see it's a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
And it's assessed at the assessor's office in the building department as a 3-bedroom house, which means she did no legwork whatsoever.
No checking. Yep.
Zero. That's what you get. That's what a discount. People want to know what the difference between a full service and discount.
Exactly.
That is a discount brokerage. Shannon says, "What advice would you give someone who is seriously thinking about becoming a real estate agent, specifically a buyer's agent? Take the certified buyer agent course."
Yes.
I would start learning. Number one, you're going to start taking as many courses as you possibly can, whatever state you live in. Look and see what kind of certifications are available. I am a big proponent of learn. And then number two, you have to get a mentor. You absolutely do not go out and start selling property right away. Align yourself with an agency that will help align you with a good mentor, somebody who's been in the business for a while that you can tag along with for months. And an agency that will allow you to come in, a broker that will hire you right away, and they'll say, "Oh yeah, you can start making sales right away." That means that their level of professionalism is on the 80%. Those are the low professional agents. Those are the ones that are unskilled, untrained. Their broker doesn't value that. But a broker that says, "You are, I want you at the very least completely tethered to an agent if you're going to be out with a buyer," that's what you need. Because you can't, this is not something you can learn in a classroom. On the job training is a huge part of this industry.
Yeah.
Do you agree, Jackie Baker?
The other thing, Jen, if you can't get a mentor, become a buyer agent on a team. find like
Mm,
one of those bigger teams,
that's good advice. Yep.
sign on to be a buyer agent, because that team lead or the other buyer agents can definitely they'll walk you through and kind of be the mentor. But I like the idea of being on a team, because if you have multiple buyers agents, you get to see, people have different styles in the way they work. I think that's always a good option as well. But
Yep.
if you're going to become a buyer's agent, I'm just going to tell you this right now, you have to, you need a thick skin, because people will ghost you
Yep.
when you think you have a client, or you think, you made a connection with somebody at an open house. And you're like, oh, great, they're going to want to work with me. And then they ghost you. Yeah, you get that a lot. Or you're going to be working with a buyer for, say, a year, and this is always fun. You get that call. Hey, we found a house. We went to an open house and found this house, and we
Thank you for
bought
all
it.
your help.
Yeah, thanks for your help. We bought this house with the listing agent. Or they turn around and say, yeah, we looked at 7,520 houses, and we're going to rent. So that's
Hmm. Well, and I think that, you know what, Jackie, I think that speaks to, you know, the courses and following a system.
yes,
I
absolutely.
will not get in the car and show anybody. I don't care who you are.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not going to show you a house until we get on a Zoom call and we
yep.
have a consultation.
And I want a
You
pre-approval.
interview me and I'm interviewing you. I
Yes.
want to know everything. I want to know your finances.
Yep.
I want to know your backstory. I want you to know goals, what your expectations are. I'm going to tell you what my expectations are. I'm going
Yep.
to tell you that I don't work Sundays. I
Yep.
don't. And you know what? That's not for everybody. That is not for everybody.
Yep.
That's a personal boundary for me. It's a
Yep.
family day. And so they need to know that up front.
Yep.
But I want to know them. I want to know their goals. I want to know if they can only look at houses on Sundays, this may not be a good fit,
Exactly. Yep.
but you need to develop a system for interviewing and data collection. So the more information you can get on that buyer, the less chance you have of, Jackie, of what happened, of what you just referenced,
Oh,
of buyers
absolutely.
ghosting
Right.
and whatnot. Because if you ask and my buyer consultations are rarely an hour, and believe it or not, it's
Yeah.
not me all talk. It's not me just talking. Like it's so important to listen, let them talk as much as possible. So an hour and a half, sometimes longer, because you want to listen for clues. Because if the clues are that they're nervous about the finances, or they're unsure about an area, but they want to just start looking,
Yep.
or they might get transferred or whatever, those might be clues that they are not going to rate up. They're not ready to buy, and they probably should rent. And I've had situations, Jack, and you have too, where I've gone through buyer consultation and I've said to people, you know what? I think you should put the brakes on. Why don't you just
Mhm.
why don't you put this on the back burner
Yeah.
for 3 months? I think when I first got
Oh,
into the
sure.
business, I had one of my mentors, had told me some advice that not a lot of agents follow, but it has been crucial. It's helped me develop a solid book of business with the clients that I have.
Mhm.
And that is, from a personal standpoint, you want to ask yourself, Shannon, like, you want to make sure that you say, okay, if I don't need the money, what advice would I give these people? Never, ever, 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 ever think about the commission. Never think about, a lot of
Yep.
agents be like, if I can get this deal together, that's a big paycheck for me. You give them advice as if
Yeah.
you don't
Do
need the
not.
money.
Yep.
You give them advice as if you don't need the money. And then you do that enough time. I think it's Zig Ziglar, for anybody who knows who Zig Ziglar is.
Mhm.
Zig Ziglar says, if you help people around you, and this is for anything, you help enough people around you get what they want, eventually you will get what you want.
Right.
Period. And it's organically, but you make those decisions and make those that if you have that mindset, you'll always go into those situations with authenticity and helping people. But that stuff comes with practice. So start
Yes, it
reading
does.
books, go to the classes, start reading those, some good solid. I would look into Brian Buffini's 100 Days to Greatness course. He offers a great course. Anyways,
Okay.
that's my real estate agent TED talk.
Okay. Thank you, Jen. Um,
Everyone else watching this live stream is like, all right, already, we're not interested in becoming real estate agents. Shut up.
y- yeah.
Uh, I would
It's
niche BA buyers.
NBA buyers. Okay.
Mm.
Awesome.
There's not enough VA buyer agents.
Yes.
Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yep, hit that twice.
They definitely need that.
I think that that's awesome. Joe says, yes, if you are doing it for a paycheck, you're dead in the water. A good agent is good because they like to help people. Authenticity.
Yes.
Joe, this is why Joe's a great agent.
Yep.
This is why Joe's a great agent.
Joe is a great agent. Yes.
Well, it's just, we all have food. We all have to put money on the table.
Yep.
Food in their bellies and roof over our head and all the things. But, there's a right and a wrong way. And that's why you interview. You got to interview agents.
Absolutely. And again, don't be afraid to walk away from that, from the check, from the deal, from the money, whatever, because
from the deal.
Yes.
Yes. All
All
right.
right, my friend. What else we got?
It says our attorneys fees included.
Oh my God.
No. No way, Jose. If the seller is offering to pay a buyer agent commission. This was written by AI. I feel like, can Landian still save $15,000 in commissions on a $500,000 home? Yes. Although sellers are increasingly declining to pay buyer agent commissions. I have an article on this that is going to debunk that. Now that they're no longer allowed to be listed on most major multiple listing services in the U.S., sometimes sellers still do offer them. When buyers purchase a home with a real estate agent in such cases, okay, I'm keeping my blood pressure low on this one. The rest of this sentence. Buyers pay agent commissions through the purchase price, which is higher than what a seller would otherwise accept for the property to receive the same net proceeds after commissions are paid. What they are basically saying is, if a seller is selling their house for $500,000 and they have to pay $15,000 in commissions, if you go to them and say, Mr. Seller, I'd like to buy this home without an agent, which means there'd be no professional involved in this transaction. There'd be no protection for you, Mr. Seller, because I have no agent with liability insurance. Are you willing to pay? Are you willing to save that money? And I'll give you $485,000. No.
Right.
The seller's going to be like, no, I want $500,000.
Yeah.
My list price is $500,000. That's up to you. If you want to do a buyer's agent, great. I'm happy. I don't have to pay it out. That's more money in my pocket. Why would they give the buyer money? Why would they do that? If they sell it for $500,000, it doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't make any sense. It's like, oh wait, I don't have to pay, so I'm going to sell it for less. Wait, what? No, it doesn't make any sense, right?
Now it's I get so aggravated every time I read this thing on this website.
I know.
I'm sorry.
This is again.
I'm like,
this is why we need to shed light on this stuff.
Yeah.
Offer prep session. We talked about this. What it includes for ongoing assistance handling complex counter offers and negotiations. You can book additional offer prep sessions. What does it not include? Tasks beyond the offer stage. Okay, Jackie, our job, and our job has changed. When I got in this business, it makes me feel really old right now, but there's no internet. There's no computer.
Right.
We didn't even we didn't have a fax machine, no pagers, no cell phones. Yep. So everything was done in person. Over the years, things have changed. Over the years, our jobs have changed.
Yep.
So what started as we were the gatekeeper of the information, and that was part of our value proposition.
Yep.
Now, our value, and I tell my clients, okay, I am not here to help you find the house. That is plain and simple. Buyers, we are here to help you vet out the house.
Yep.
And maybe focus in. If you come to us with 5 properties, we're here to give you guidance and say, this one does not suit your needs. This one's going to be a waste of money. This one needs too much work. But all that information is available now. So
Mhm.
where do we make most of our money? Where do we make not where do we make most money? Where do we provide most value? It starts at the time of the offer, and every time it's all
Mhm.
the time after.
Mhm.
All the time after.
Mhm.
It's the vetting, and then the minute negotiation starts, and negotiation does not stop
No.
until you have the keys in your
But
hand.
listen, Jen,
It doesn't stop.
I said this on my live stream last night, and I think I said it last week too. I was on vacation at the end of August. I was on the phone every single day talking to my clients. Okay. I have
Yep.
a buyer deal and a listing deal going on right now. And there were issues between buyer and sellers over inspection items, right? This is for my listing.
Hey,
And
can I just can I put the pause button on you for you a
yeah.
second? David Major? I'm gonna hopefully I said your last name correct.
Oh,
Dream Team Panel. I'm loving on you, David. I
I'm
think
loving
that's the
that
sweetest.
too.
Thank you, man. Thank
Thank you,
you.
David.
That's very,
Thank
very
you,
kind of you
David.
to say. Very
So
kind of you to say.
awesome. Um,
That's better than we got two gals that are just won't stop talking.
yeah, I know.
Um,
Well, this is what we love to talk about. So yeah.
well, it's all the whole like anything that gets my moral compass spinning gets me fired up.
Yep.
Like this whole thing is just so wrong. You're very welcome, Shannon.
Yes, you're welcome, Shannon.
Not afraid to walk away from bad deals. Well, and it's not being away from walk away. It's not it's taking the brave mood. It's having the bravery to um, let your clients walk away,
Yeah.
and doing that, and it feels really good
And you
to
and
save someone.
hold your head up
To be
high.
like,
Yep.
don't buy this house. Don't buy
Yep.
this house. Um,
Yep.
they'll see your value, and they'll thank you
Yep.
indefinitely for that. You mean sellers won't just choose to sell their homes for less out of kindness?
I know, isn't that a
Maybe
crazy thought, Joe? Crazy thought. Seriously.
imagine that.
But Jen, going back to the thing about like that they won't help you beyond the offer part of it, that they won't help you during the transactions. Like that this is again, I go back to why or to debunk what people are saying that we don't do anything, right? So like I said, I was on vacation. I would say as long as I've been in real estate, I've worked every vacation. Every vacation because my clients are calling me for whatever reason, and that's okay. I mean, I could shut down and say, you know what, I'll deal with you when I get back, but I don't. I don't do that because
Yeah.
especially if things pressing, like the home inspection
Although you
stuff.
should.
And
Although to a certain degree you should. You were
I,
taking calls when we were together at the conference.
I know it was
You
taking
know?
calls, but that I couldn't. But listen, but there's a lot of
I know.
stupid stuff that goes on. I'm not saying that diminishing saying, "Oh, you're stupid," but the buyer's being stupid. But no, it's
No,
just,
there's
but
there's
it's the negotiating and the back and forth. Well, I want this fixed. Well, no, but we're addressing all these issues. We're not going to address this, and then I got to get involved and then call the buyer agent and have that conversation and be like, "What the heck is going on? What do we need to do to make everybody happy and get to the closing table? What do we need to do?" And
that happens
it
more often than people
happens all the
realize. I know that
time.
people think that you have like this magical, like, why do I need a buyer's agent for? Because
For that reason.
I just gonna do the offer and then it should be fine, right? Like if I have a
Yeah.
pre-approval, I should be fine, right?
No.
I
What?
have not ever, and I am, Jackie, you know me. I'm about as type A as they come.
Yeah.
I have lists for
Yes,
my
you are.
lists.
Yes, you are.
To a fault, right?
I,
Like
I love
I'm
I love
not.
you, Jen, but yeah, you are.
No, I'm not normal in that regard. And so you would think that my transactions would be spotless because I anticipate and I have all these I's dotted, T's crossed. I have yet to ever have a transaction where there hasn't been even a small bump, an issue, or something that we have to solve. I'm not talking about buyers and sellers fighting, but just something that needs a little bit more hand holding, a little bit finessing,
Yeah.
a little problem solving. There's always something that
Always.
you need a little, and yes, it could get to closing, but well, if you get an agent that's fighting for you, maybe you save some money or you
Yep.
save some time,
Right.
because that agent knows some alternatives, solutions to try to get that done.
Yep.
The attorneys don't buy and sell real estate. Attorneys do not buy and sell real estate. They are not in I've helped,
No.
almost 900 families, 900 transactions in my career. These attorneys are not out in the trenches,
No.
and the attorneys I work with, they come to me. They're like, Jen, what do you think we should do? They're not going to help you negotiate on an issue like that. So,
Right.
anyways,
Yeah. And again, they haven't been in the house. They don't know. Like, I just had this today. There's a miscommunication between the attorneys on this deal that I have, where the hot tub was included in the sale, but for some reason, the buyer's agent, the other agent, the buyer's attorney, thought it wasn't, and he's going back to the client saying, "Well, what if they threw in the hot tub? Would that make you happy?" And so the agent's calling me. She's like, "I thought the hot tub was included." I go, "It was included. Who the hell is saying it's not included?" Like, well, their attorney is saying, "What if we throw in the hot tub?" I go, "It's already there. Like, it's already been included." Like, it's like those. It's yeah. Anyway, we do way, way, way more than just submitting an offer and showing you the house. Yes, really? Yes. I'm gonna take that sound deck. I'm coming up to Plymouth, and I'm gonna take that sound.
Back to our regular scheduled program.
Oh my God, Jen. Yeah.
It says,
Okay.
in some cases, you will be asked. Okay, another red flag. Blood pressure. In some cases, you may be asked to sign a buyer broker agreement applicable to your jurisdiction. Okay, in all cases, if you're dealing with a buyer agent, you will be required to sign a buyer broker agreement. There is no, in some cases, unless I should sidebar there and say that unless you're part of that small, 1%, that's not a real realtor,
right. Realtor. But oh my God, Jen, is this guy a moron?
No, I'm telling you, it's
like so
it's such bad stuff.
You're right.
I think that was,
oh my God.
yeah, I think that was about the extent of it.
You
So
realize,
you know what? Do we want to mess around with this thing?
Yeah, pull it
What do you
up
think?
because I want to show you how stupid it is.
Give me an address. Let's see here.
Hold on. Pull up something on Zillow. Hold on a minute.
Fire away. This is not pre-planned, folks.
Let me pull up. Hold on a minute, Jen. What do we want? What area? Let's pull up an address and
take your time. We'll be here. We'll wait for you, Jackie.
Okay. What did I say about the sound deck? Okay, you ready?
Wait, hold on.
You ready? I got one.
Got it.
Type this in.
Roger. Yep.
1556 Walnut View Drive. And that's
is it one word?
2 words. And that's in Charlotte. Good old Charlotte, North Carolina. All right,
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Let's see what happens.
It's thinking about it.
It's thinking, please wait. We're processing your request.
Please wait.
Just a moment. Please stand by.
Please stand by.
Flat fee savings are on the way. Hang tight. Are you excited to skip that 3% commission? Are you excited? No, but I'm excited to.
It says copy and paste any listing link.
No, it should work.
It'll do the thing? Okay.
It should. It should. Watch it. Sorry for the wait, but savings this big will be worth it.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, come on. Please continue.
Buying contest says, why am I getting a phone call? Love that. Love that. Okay, you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to copy and paste. What was
Wait. Just a moment. Flat fee. Oh, okay. Try putting the link in then. I thought it worked with the... Oh, wait, there it is.
Oh, okay. I'm getting a little feedback on your, if you can turn down your audio just a scotch. I know. I'm in
Really?
pain. Get a little echo, just a scotch.
Really?
So it
So
says,
high maintenance.
okay, so we've got, I have imported 2 properties from the provided URL. Great. We didn't do a URL. If the property you're interested in is not here. All right. So 2, so should we do this one or this one? Let's do, well, considering this one is not even on the market,
Hold on.
because this one has an estimate value, whereas this one is actually on
That's
the
the one
market.
that's
We're
for
gonna
sale, 410.
we're gonna do this one. Okay. So we've got the property and like absolute no information, a
Nothing.
couple
You see, now
pictures,
now
a
read the
Google view. Great, awesome. We've got basic info that you can get from anybody, any any website, listing agents. This is where I would stop. Like,
yeah,
why would you just call the listing agent? Just email
exactly.
the listing agent. All right, but say, all right, we wanna book a tour. So what happens when we schedule a tour? So you got to put all your information
You have
in,
to sign up. You
register,
have to
you
register.
have to sign up, and then did you register?
I did, but when I went back to log in, it wouldn't take. It kept saying it was invalid password. I'm like, no, it's not. This is I wrote it down. So I
Okay,
tried to
I
go ahead and
am
register.
going to so I'm going to do this so you don't see my login information. So Jackie, take the floor because I'm gonna so my name is gonna be I feel like a Sandra.
Okay, you could be
I'm gonna be
Sandra.
Sandra.
You
I'm
can
gonna be
you can
Sandra.
you can be a Sandra tonight. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see, and I hate to say this, but I'm curious to see how fast this one's going to fail, like Redfin, because there's just no agent's going to sign up for this. Just it's not happening. I can't imagine any agent signing up for that.
Nope.
But buyers, I'm sorry, if you're thinking they're pushing this whole thing, you're going to save 3%. You're going to save 3%. The commission's negotiable. And if you're signing a buyer agent agreement, you can negotiate that. There doesn't have to be 3%. If you don't want to pay 3%, you go back to that agent and negotiate a different number.
Yep.
And remember, sellers can still choose to offer to pay for your buyer agent fee. So this is the one thing
Yep.
he's skating. He's like, oh, but more and more sellers are choosing not to. No, because you know why? Because as this continues and if sellers are going to be offering 0, the buyers are gonna write it in their offer anyway to pay for the buyer agent.
Yep.
So just oh my God, this whole website
Just
drives me
stop
nuts.
it.
This guy,
Just stop it.
just knock it off. Just stop it.
Stop it.
All right, did you
Just
set it
stop
up?
it. Yeah, I'm having password
Just put
almost there.
just put like a,
I know.
you
I'm
know,
working on it.
let's do a dumb
Cool your
password.
jets.
Just do
Cool your jets,
cool
Baker.
your jet.
Come on. No, you cool your jets.
Come on, Jen.
Oh my goodness. It's telling me to verify my number. Hold on 1 second, folks, here. Hold on 1 second. Please stand by. Of course, the number is not my number. It's a secret number that I will not divulge, used for these exact purposes. If anyone ever wants to mess around with the website and you're like, I don't want to give my cell phone number, Google has, if you have a Google account, you can have a free telephone number through Google Phone. You just set it, a Google telephone number is, and it's only through Google, 100%. So you don't have to give out your actual phone number to anyone. You set it up and do text messaging and voicemail right through Google without giving your actual number.
See, Jen
You
is the
learn something new
smartest
every
with
day.
this stuff. When it comes to the tech stuff, I literally call her up like really early in the morning and be like, "Can you help me?"
Yeah, she totally does. She's
I
she really
do.
she's a
Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Bike contest says 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the combo to my
What do I
luggage.
like? Okay,
Good to
thanks.
know.
Thank you.
TSA agents all over the world now know.
All right.
Schedule a tour of 1556 Walnut View Drive. Let's book a tour. How it works, $49. We'll run. So here's the other thing that came up
Yes.
in an article that I read. So there's a different fee. We'll refund you if you'd rather pay $17.99 at closing. Okay. So you can pay upfront fees $49 or $199, or you can do an at closing fee of $17.99, which I believe includes 5 tours and
And
2
two offers.
offers.
5 tours, 2 offers. Yep.
Right. But the thing that they do not stipulate is what other services are included. Because if you do the math on 5 tours and 2 offers, that does not equal $1,800. So there's definitely a buffer built in because their catch is, if you don't buy this house, then you don't have to pay. So like if you say, well, I'm going to go tour 5 houses and maybe you don't even want to buy any of them, then I don't know what the contract is. I'm sure you probably have to sign a buyer agent agreement
Yep.
for $1,800, right? I would just, very sketchy is all these ins and outs that you would have to keep an eye out for.
Hold up. So you're buying, so now you're paying that agent, you see 5 houses, you paid $50 a house and you decide not to buy. Now that person's out that money. But if you sign up for the comprehensive, the $17.99, they're going to refund you. But
Right.
now I know it says, oh, you get more, it's a more comprehensive package where you get more service. How much more? What else?
Yeah, and I'm actually taking a look to see if they have additional information. I didn't see the additional information unless I skipped right over it on the $17.99. I don't see any information on the $17.99.
It didn't. It just says a more comprehensive package or whatever service,
which is super transparent,
right? Because he's all about transparency.
He's all about transparency.
So, okay. So, yeah. So they want your credit card, right?
They want your credit card so they can take your money. How much do I save? This is all, of course they're going to, this is the sell. This is just the selling proposition.
Scroll up, show these numbers. This is so stupid. I wanted to die when I saw this. I'm like, are you freaking for real?
So take the floor. Take the floor, Jackie. I know you got this. Explain it. It's ridiculous.
They keep, first of all, that 3%. A 3% is not, it's not accurate. Sorry. All right. So it says here, exclusivity, the traditional agent, right? Tours taken unlimited, offers made unlimited, exclusivity, typically 6 months or longer. Okay. There's some of us who've worked with people for over a year. So that agent is getting $12,300. Now, Landon, without the package, that's the exclusive package of the $17.99, right? So they're paying out of pocket $643. And what if they don't buy the house?
Well, right? $643. The thing that they're forgetting is that only includes them getting the offer presented. What about all the negotiation if the home inspection goes sideways? What happens if you don't? What if you have to make multiple offers on multiple properties because you can't get your offer accepted, or the deal dies and you have to start all over?
You got to go.
What if you have extra attorney's fees? Because now the attorney has to handle some of the negotiations, like on a home inspection. Some attorneys will go attorney to attorney sometimes, but they're not doing that for free. They're not doing that for free. So is it truly going to cost you $650? Not in a million years.
No.
On any planet would you have to pay that. If you are confident enough that you don't need the help with negotiation, why pay the $650 to begin with? Go directly to the listing agent, write the offer yourself. If you're that confident, you want to take the chances and do it yourself, then truly just do it yourself.
Exactly.
Just do it yourself.
Yep.
Like, why bother giving these people any money? There's no benefit whatsoever.
Good point.
And then here's the other thing.
The last part, exclusivity for 90 days.
90 days.
But Jen, look what's included. It only says here 5 tours, 2 offers, and you're paying $17.99. So
do you honestly think that the bottom feeder agents that are signing up to this website are going to limit themselves to 5 tours? No.
No.
They're going to limit themselves to 2 offers. No.
But are they going to do right? But then for that 17.99, are they going to negotiate? They're going to answer the phone when you have the other side calling you, screaming about issues
On
and
vacation,
on
calling their agent on
vacation. You're going to answer
vacation.
your phone on vacation, right? For 17.99, they're not going to do that.
Nope. Um, Joe says, what happens when the buyer goes, what are 3 good local contractors? Oh, Joe,
Good
good.
one,
This is
Joe.
such a good point.
It's such a good.
What are 3 local contractors that know older homes that you know of are good to work with? How
Yep.
does Landian handle that? Nope.
Yep.
Uh-uh.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
Not
Nope.
gonna have it. Not gonna do it. See you later. Bye.
Yeah, they just is landing good? Are the landing agents gonna listen to your clients,
What happens when we
problems and their
schedule a
stresses
tour?
about the deal? No, they're not. My client. So
So we're
did
gonna
I tell
schedule
you?
a tour. Hold on. So we
All
do.
right. You're not
Your
scheduling it,
address
are
is
you?
required for identity verification purposes. Yeah, no. I'm not going to give you my address. Tours cannot be scheduled next day if requested after 6 p.m. Jackie, how many times have you been called by a buyer who calls you or leaves you a message after 6 o'clock and says, you know what, Jackie, I know we've been working together for a while, but there's a house that just came on the market and it's going to go fast. Can I see it tomorrow at 1 o'clock?
Absolutely.
Tours
And what
cannot
do
be
I do?
scheduled next day. Are you
Yep.
serious?
No. No, that's what this is for. And this is what we have that app called Showing Time. And this is what we do. So I had this. I have a client. He texts me all the time, like at literally 9 o'clock at night. Can I see this
So,
tomorrow? I'm like,
okay.
yes,
So
you can.
they're also they're giving you time slots but they're like going to give you an agent that's actually available, which means you get what you get.
Yeah,
There is no interview process.
that's
There's
right.
nothing. It's just a
Yep.
body.
Yep.
He's a glorified babysitter.
Yep.
See what we got. Joanne. Hey, Joanne.
Hi.
My first time doing a live view. You're both so informative. Thank you. Awesome. Well, we are super glad to have you
Yes.
on board and in the chat.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
being here.
Ask your questions right away. Ask away.
Yep.
Ask away. Let's see. Robert, welcome. Google AI, the cost. Here we go. The cost of errors and omissions, insurance for real estate agents can vary, but the median is about $55 a month or $665 annually. However, the cost can be more or less depending. I'm sure there's probably a part 2
Yep.
of that he'll continue. But where you're going with that, you're absolutely correct. That an agent, a broker has to approve an agent to work for this company. It's not going to.
And do you think they're going to approve it? No.
No.
Listen, Jen, you work for Remax. I work for Coldwell Banker. Our companies were named in that lawsuit, and we settled with them. You think they're going to approve their agents working, signing up with us?
I think we hit the nail on the head. People understand. People understand our position on this, but again, the goal of this exercise was not to sit here and bash this website, whatever. The goal is to go through it with a fine-tooth comb.
Yep.
So you guys understand. You understand what exactly is out there, because there will be copycat websites that pop up.
Yes.
It's a given.
Yep.
Because when there's a need, okay, necessity is the mother of invention.
Yep.
And yes, there are going to be times when you just need somebody to open the door. There absolutely will be. I think that especially if you have situations where there aren't any open houses, okay, I think that there will be on the other side conversations that need to happen with listing agents and home sellers. Home sellers need to know that these websites exist so that when they get their offer, you need to know, is the agent. So you proactively as a home seller, I want you to ask your agent, do you know the agent? Has this agent that you've worked with before? What is, are they working with a website?
True.
And it chances are nil that a Coldwell Banker, Remax agent, all the, EXP or Real or any of the bigger name companies are going to be signing up for this discount service. It's going to be the smaller mom and pop stuff, right?
That's a good point.
Those are questions that you as a seller need to ask your agent, because if there isn't good guidance, this thing may look good. And then the buyer who hasn't gone through the consultation with an agent, who thinks they want to buy a house, and they're like, oh my gosh, I found a house, and I can get by. I can get over the fact that it's by the freeway because it's got a garage or whatever. And then they get halfway through the transaction and they go, and they're still within the contingency period where they get their money back. And they go, you know what? I've had a change of heart. I really don't want to live by the freeway. I'm going to back out. I'm going to get my deposit back. I'm within my contingency period. I'm going to back out, get my money back, and start over. Yeah, they can do that. And now you as a seller are stuck putting the house back on the market. And Jackie, you and I both know, doesn't matter the market. Although we're going to ignore the stupid, crazy COVID years because that was an anomaly. That's not the way it ever will probably work again. No. But in a normal market, even in a fast-paced market, a property that goes off the market and then back on the market it's a red flag. You're like, well, what happened to that house? Like, what did the buyer not like about it? And now you are stigmatized. And yes, you can still sell it, but every buyer's going to be questioning, why did it go off the market in the first place? And why did it come back on? And now the likelihood of getting the same amount or more for that house has gone down because the property is stigmatized.
Yep.
So it's important to know that these things exist so that you can ask questions.
They do. That's happened to me. One of the first listings I had that happened, I had 3 buyers back out over, and each one had their own reason. It was so stupid. But by the time we sold it, it sold for a lot less because of that, the stigmatized. So anyway,
the ridiculous. The last thing that I wanted to just touch on, Jackie, was this article by Redfin that came out yesterday, September 9th. And they kind of go into some stats because Redfin is good with statistics and numbers and tracking, and they process a lot of data. They're known for their data. So they're tracking on how this it's been. We're in this 3 weeks. They're tracking the data on what's happening in the market. And I just want to scroll down here. The section, buyers are confused about signing an agreement. We do know that. That's absolutely true. But the one thing that ties into what we're talking about is, I want to say, is it this one? Yes, this one right here. Even though negotiations are becoming more common, most sellers are still willing to help cover the buyer agent fees. So this is not me and you talking about it. This is data.
Yep.
This is data. Before, sellers proactively advertised a commission in the MLS, so on and so forth. Now sellers are evaluating their options. By and large, most are still willing to cover the buyer agent fee as long as they still meet their desired, their net desired amount. So in other words, you want to walk away from the house with $500,000. And say the listing price is, $525,000, just round numbers. The reality of it is if the agents do a good job negotiating, or what have you, if they come out with negotiate to the point where the seller still walks away with the number that they need for that amount. And sometimes does that mean the seller's agent, the listing agent, might adjust their fee down? They might, but it's if you're comparing offers, a seller might get, and this is the thing, is a lot of buyers that are going to directly to listing agents think they're going to save money by not coming with representation. So they're coming with a lower offer. So the sellers are like, well, my net without a buyer that is not working with an agent is this. And then my net with an offer that's higher with a buyer agent fee being paid is actually slightly more. Because the buyer is offering more money. So their net, their walk away amount is actually a little higher, even though the buyer is using an agent and they're paying for that buyer agent. So don't listen to the fake news.
No, do not. Do not.
Oh man, it's just ridiculous.
I'm glad Redfin did this because I'm seeing it in my market. Sellers are offering it. It hasn't made much of a difference. So
nope. But hey, this has been a very stimulating conversation.
As always.
And you know what? If anybody wants more stimulating conversation with Jackie, check out our channel.
Please come check
Jackie
out.
Baker.
Thank you so much, Jen.
You got it. Live streams, content every Tuesday, live streams every Monday night.
Yep.
And a little bird told me somebody's going to be joining you this coming Monday. I wonder who that will be.
I don't know. Who is that? Really?
We shall see.
I can't wait,
are we
doing a shameless plug? Shameless plug.
We will. Real quick, for those that would like a couple of referrals to either a listing agent or a buyer's agent, there's a link in the description. You fill that out and send you an email with some questions. We'll get you connected to the right person. You'll have access to my my preferred network, that agents that I've personally vetted out and stand behind. So you can have access to that. And then, yes, shameless plug time.
Yes.
So Jackie and I, fun side project, which really absolutely positively does, there's no purpose to it other than us having fun legitimately.
Jen,
It's
we have 86 subscribers on the podcast.
I know. Well,
Oh
on
my
the YouTube side of the podcast, and
Yeah.
I don't even know on the podcast side, the Spotify and Apple Podcast and all the different avenues that it's posted on, Amazon Podcast, all those different channels. We've got, but it's like, you know, I don't know how many people listen to that. I don't even watch the numbers on, I don't really care. But the premise is that Jackie finds ridiculous Reddit stories, and I don't know about it till she reads it. And then we have very, very interesting conversations.
Yes.
It's amazing what people, you know, the dirty laundry that people air.
Oh my God. Yeah,
out in the open.
it's a good time. You should all check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, bike contest in response to the live stream. Who could it be?
I don't know.
You'll have to stay tuned. Stay tuned next week.
Yeah.
You'll find out. But hey, listen, you got anything else to add there?
No,
Miss Jackie Baker?
I'm good. This is wonderful. Thanks for getting my Sicilian up once again, second night in a row talking about this, but it's all good. It was
Hey,
fun.
you know what?
Anything
I appreciate you. Hey, I appreciate you being here, Jackie. It's always super fun time and
so great being
super.
here. Thank you.
Oh, your input is always invaluable, and glad that you could join in with getting your 2 cents in.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, everybody! Thanks for joining. And hey, do me a nice favor. The debate is on tonight, and there's going to be a lot of whatever Jerry Springer show stuff. So do me a favor, be kind to your neighbors and other people this week. You know, things are getting a little tense, a little tense lately, and we got to remember to be nice to each other.
Yes,
we got to take care of each other in this wacky world. So hey, be good. Look before you cross the street, and we'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye.
See ya.